Pope Francis, the most powerful religious leader of our time, has shocked the world with his revolutionary approach to faith, politics, and social justice. But did you know that behind the papal robes and grand speeches lies a man who has faced unimaginable challenges, controversies, and life-threatening health battles? From his humble beginnings in Argentina to reshaping the future of the Catholic Church, Pope Francis' journey is nothing short of extraordinary. His papacy has sparked global debates on everything from climate change to LGBTQ plus rights, making him one of the most talked about figures of the 21st century. So, what made Pope Francis the leader he is today? What were the secrets and struggles that defined his reign? In this video, we'll dive deep into the untold story of Pope Francis, exposing the most shocking and unexpected moments that transformed him from a humble priest to a global icon. You won't want to miss this. Pope Francis, born Jorge Mario Bergoglio on December 17, 1936 in Buenos Aires, Argentina, is one of the most influential figures of the 21st century. As the 266th Pope of the Roman Catholic Church, he has brought significant change and reform to both the Church and the world. His journey from the streets of Argentina to the Vatican is nothing short of remarkable. From his humble beginnings in a working-class neighborhood to becoming the first Jesuit Pope, the first Pope from the Americas, and the first non-European Pope in over 1,000 years, his life is a story of unwavering faith, dedication, and a deep commitment to the marginalized. But Pope Francis is more than just a religious leader. He is a beacon of hope and compassion, embodying a message of social justice, inclusivity, and environmental responsibility. Throughout his papacy, he has challenged the Church to embrace humility, equality, and the values of love and compassion for all people, regardless of their background, nationality, or belief system. His teachings and actions have earned him widespread admiration across the globe, transcending religious and cultural boundaries. Known for his down-to-earth nature and profound sense of humility, Pope Francis has repeatedly emphasized the importance of living a life of simplicity, serving others, and putting faith into action. His papacy has marked a significant shift in the Church's approach to issues such as poverty, climate change, LGBTQ+ rights, and the treatment of refugees. Under his leadership, the Church has taken bold steps toward fostering a more inclusive and compassionate global community. But Pope Francis' life is not just defined by his time as Pope. His earlier years as a priest, bishop, and cardinal in Argentina shaped his views on social justice and advocacy for the poor. His experience with Argentina's turbulent political history during the Dirty War in the 1970s shaped his deep commitment to human rights and justice. He is a man who has lived through personal hardship and witnessed the struggles of countless people, which has fueled his dedication to making the world a better place for all. In this video, we will explore Pope Francis' extraordinary life, his mission to reform the Catholic Church, his legacy as a world leader, and the pivotal moments that have defined his journey. Join us as we dive deep into the inspiring story of one of the most influential figures of our time, a man who has left an indelible mark on the Catholic Church and the world. Jorge Mario Bergoglio was born in Buenos Aires to Italian immigrant parents, Mario and Regina Bergoglio. His family was working class, and from a young age he understood the value of hard work and sacrifice. Raised in a modest home in the Flores neighborhood, he attended public school and learned early on about the challenges faced by the poor. The lessons from his parents on the importance of faith and humility shaped his character and later his work as a priest. As a young man, Bergoglio was drawn to the religious life. In 1958, at the age of 22, he joined the Society of Jesus, the Jesuit order. The Jesuits were known for their commitment to education, social justice, and the poor, and this resonated deeply with Bergoglio's personal beliefs. He spent years in spiritual formation, studying philosophy and theology, and earning his degree in chemistry. Despite his academic pursuits, it was his deep connection to the people, particularly the underprivileged, that set him apart. During his time as a Jesuit, Bergoglio held various teaching and leadership positions in Argentina. He became known for his intellect, discipline, and empathy. He was ordained a priest in 1969 and quickly rose through the ranks of the Jesuit order. His time as provincial superior of the Jesuit order in Argentina was particularly significant, as it marked a period of deep reflection on the political turmoil facing the country during the Dirty War, a brutal period of military dictatorship in Argentina from 1976 to 1983. Pope Francis's experiences during this time would deeply influence his future papacy. He was an outspoken critic of the regime's human rights abuses, and his stance on social justice issues would continue to evolve as he became a key player in the Catholic Church. However, his journey wasn't without controversy, and his critics have sometimes pointed to his actions during the dictatorship, claiming that he did not do enough to protect victims. Pope Francis has acknowledged the complexities of this period and has sought to make amends, emphasizing the importance of reconciliation and healing. In 1998, Bergoglio was appointed the Archbishop of Buenos Aires, the most important position within the Argentine Catholic Church. His tenure as Archbishop was marked by a commitment to pastoral care, with a focus on serving the poor and marginalized communities of Buenos Aires. Pope Francis became known for his personal humility, often choosing to live in a simple apartment instead of the Archbishop's residence, traveling on public transportation, and personally visiting the sick and the poor in his community. His time in Buenos Aires also marked a deepening of his social and political activism. He became a staunch advocate for the rights of the poor and homeless, challenging the wealthier classes and calling for greater social equity. This aligned with his Jesuit upbringing, which emphasized social justice and the duty of the Church to address the needs of society's most vulnerable. Bergoglio's leadership style as Archbishop gained widespread recognition both in Argentina and internationally. He had a reputation for being a man of deep prayer, humility, and a no-nonsense attitude toward church reform. His leadership in Buenos Aires drew the attention of the Vatican, and in 2001, Pope John Paul II elevated him to the rank of cardinal. This move was seen as a signal that Bergoglio was a rising star within the Catholic Church. Pope John Paul II's death in 2005 set the stage for Bergoglio to be considered for the papacy. He was a candidate in the 2005 conclave that elected Pope Benedict XVI, but ultimately Benedict was chosen. Despite this, Bergoglio continued to serve as cardinal and archbishop, quietly making his mark on the Church's inner workings. When Pope Benedict XVI announced his resignation in 2013, it shocked the world. It was the first papal resignation in over 600 years. As the world waited for a new pope, the College of Cardinals gathered in the Sistine Chapel to choose a successor. Cardinal Bergoglio's name was raised as a candidate once more, but many believed he had little chance of winning. However, the cardinals were looking for someone who could bring fresh vision and reform to the church in the wake of growing scandals and internal tensions. On March 13, 2013, after just 5 ballots, the white smoke rose from the Vatican's chimney, signaling the election of a new pope. The world was stunned when the name Jorge Mario Bergoglio was announced as Pope Francis. At the time of his election, he was 76 years old, and his selection signified a profound shift for the Catholic Church. Not only was he the first pope from Latin America, but he was also the first Jesuit pope, and the first to take the name Francis, after Saint Francis of Assisi, known for his humility, love for the poor, and commitment to peace. Pope Francis' election was a breath of fresh air for the Church. His humble demeanor, inclusive approach, and calls for reform resonated with millions of Catholics and people around the world. He made an immediate impact by calling for a more open and compassionate church, one that would serve the poor, embrace the outcast, and build bridges rather than walls. Pope Francis wasted no time making bold moves within the Catholic Church. One of his first acts was to create a new Vatican Reform Commission aimed at increasing transparency and accountability in the Church's financial affairs. He also set up a commission to address the sexual abuse crisis, a deeply painful issue that has marred the Church for decades. His efforts to tackle this problem head-on have earned him both praise and criticism, but he has remained steadfast in his commitment to justice for victims. In addition to internal reforms, Pope Francis has been a tireless advocate for social issues that affect the global community. His papacy has focused on several key themes, including poverty, inequality, the environment, and peace. His landmark encyclical, Laudato Si, addressed the urgent need to protect the environment and take action on climate change. In it, Pope Francis called for global solidarity and a rethinking of our economic systems to prioritize the well-being of the planet and its inhabitants, particularly the poor. Pope Francis has also been an outspoken advocate for refugees and immigrants, calling on governments to open their doors to those fleeing war and persecution. His calls for greater compassion and understanding have been met with both praise and resistance, as his views challenge the status quo of many political systems. However, his willingness to speak out on behalf of the most vulnerable people in society has earned him admiration from around the world. His stance on LGBTQ+ issues has also been a point of contention within the Church. While Pope Francis has maintained the Church's traditional teachings on marriage and sexuality, he has emphasized the need for greater compassion and acceptance of LGBTQ+ individuals. His statement that, "Who am I to judge?" when referring to gay people living with dignity sparked widespread attention and debate, signaling a shift toward a more inclusive approach to church teachings. Pope Francis' leadership has not only been marked by his commitment to reforming the Church, but also by his tireless efforts to foster peace and diplomacy in a world increasingly divided by conflict and violence. As one of the world's most influential figures, the Pope has been a strong voice for international dialogue, urging both religious and political leaders to prioritize peace over war and reconciliation over division. Pope Francis's role as a diplomat reached new heights when he played a significant part in the historic rapprochement between the United States and Cuba. His behind-the-scenes efforts helped broker the re-establishment of diplomatic relations between the two nations after decades of tension. In his meetings with U.S. President Barack Obama and Cuban President Raúl Castro, Pope Francis advocated for the power of dialogue in resolving international conflicts. His intervention was hailed as a pivotal moment in the history of diplomacy and underscored his belief in the transformative power of dialogue. Another area where Pope Francis has shown a unique blend of diplomacy and moral clarity is in his approach to the Middle East, especially in relation to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. He has repeatedly called for peace in the region, urging both sides to engage in direct negotiations and advocating for a two-state solution. His leadership in promoting peace between Israel and Palestine is a reflection of his broader commitment to building bridges between cultures and faiths. The Pope's role as a global leader has not been limited to political diplomacy. His message of hope and unity has resonated deeply with millions of people across the world, especially those living in conflict zones. Pope Francis has made several trips to places devastated by war, including Iraq and the Holy Land. where he met with religious leaders and ordinary people suffering from the ravages of violence. His visits have been marked by gestures of solidarity and compassion, reminding the world of the importance of building peaceful communities grounded in mutual respect and love. Despite his widespread popularity, Pope Francis has faced his share of controversy and criticism. Some have viewed his calls for church reform as too radical, challenging traditional teachings and authority within the Vatican. His liberal stance on certain issues, such as climate change and social justice, has not always been well received by conservative factions within the Church. His emphasis on mercy and compassion has also led to debates about church doctrine, particularly in relation to divorce, remarriage, and LGBTQ plus rights. Additionally, Pope Francis has been criticized for his handling of the ongoing sexual abuse scandal within the Church. While he has made significant efforts to address the issue by establishing reforms and holding bishops accountable, some victims' advocates believe he has not done enough to ensure justice for those who have suffered at the hands of clergy. The Vatican's handling of the crisis has been a focal point of debate throughout his papacy, with some accusing him of not taking stronger action sooner. However, Pope Francis has never shied away from confronting these issues head-on. He has openly acknowledged the failures of the Church and expressed deep remorse for the suffering caused by abusive clergy. His public apologies and commitment to making systemic changes within the Church demonstrate his desire to reform an institution that has been plagued by scandal for decades. His critics may argue that he has not done enough, but his supporters believe he is making progress in the right direction, even if the path is fraught with difficulty. In the final years of his papacy, Pope Francis has continued to live out his core values of humility, compassion, and reform. His health has been a growing concern, especially after his hospitalization in early 2025 for double pneumonia and kidney failure. Despite these challenges, Pope Francis has shown incredible resilience, continuing to perform his duties as head of the Catholic Church while grappling with his health issues. His appearance on Easter Sunday in April 2025, delivering his final Urbi et Orbi blessing, was a poignant moment in the history of his papacy. Despite being urged by his doctors to rest, the Pope insisted on speaking to the faithful, showing his deep connection to the Church and his unwavering commitment to his mission. It was a final moment of connection with the people he had served so faithfully over the years, and a testament to his strength and determination. Pope Francis's health challenges have led many to speculate about the future of the Church and the potential for a papal conclave to elect his successor. While his death in April 2025 has left the world in mourning, his legacy as a pope of reform, peace, and social justice will undoubtedly endure for generations to come. Pope Francis passed away on April 21, 2025, at the age of 88, after a long and courageous battle with health complications. The news of his death sent shockwaves around the world, with millions of people mourning the loss of a spiritual leader who had become a symbol of compassion and progressive reform. He died at his residence in the Vatican, where he had spent his final days in prayer and reflection. In the days following his passing, world leaders, religious figures, and ordinary citizens alike paid tribute to Pope Francis, reflecting on the profound impact he had made on the Church and the world. His death marked the end of an era in the Vatican, but his teachings and values will continue to inspire future generations. Pope Francis leaves behind a church that has undergone significant transformation, and his influence on global issues, from climate change to social justice, will be remembered for years to come. With the passing of Pope Francis, the Catholic Church now faces the process of selecting a new leader. A papal conclave is scheduled to take place between May 6 and 11, 2025, where cardinals from around the world will gather in the Sistine Chapel to elect the next pope. This conclave marks a turning point for the Church as it navigates the legacy of Pope Francis and the challenges that lie ahead. Pope Francis' successor will face the monumental task of continuing his efforts to reform the Church, address ongoing global crises, and inspire a new generation of Catholics. The next pope will also be tasked with responding to the challenges of modernity, balancing tradition with the need for progress, and leading a church that has been shaped by Pope Francis' teachings. As the world waits for the selection of a new pope, Pope Francis's legacy remains a powerful reminder of the importance of faith, love, and service to others. His papacy has redefined what it means to be a Catholic leader in the 21st century, and his influence will continue to be felt for generations.